If this is our last EuroCup game, we're gonna sell our skin very high. You know, on any board. Think about, you know, like we talk about, you know, like a lot, you know, like this box out, you know, could netting points, you know, kill everybody here. You know, one of the points, you know, here. You know, but it's important one more time.
Lokomotiv Kuban Volkswagen Arena,
cagey affair. It's the largest lead any team has been able to enjoy. Just 4 points, just as it was in game one. These two teams, the top two defensive teams in the competition this year, Martin. So no surprise there that the game is close.
Yeah, the game being tight, but this is, you know, that's tough defense and that's a tough bucket. And the thing you like about it is he attacked with aggression and threw it high off the backboard, gave the ball a chance to get in, wasn't just thinking about drawing the foul.
And you can see what it means to Wilbekin. He's getting involved in the timeout right away. So here's your first quarter highlights in game 2 of the finals of the 7 days EuroCup. We're in the Volkswagen Arena in Istanbul. MVP Kuban and Wilbekin, two of the best guards in this competition, going mano-a-mano right at each other. Speaking of going mano-a-mano, it's Ellegaard there with some good defense in the low post. You like this player here, Martin Ragland, with the dribble drive and the lay-in. Lacey knocks down a 3. Taking a look at some of the scores here. Wilbekin with 7 points to pace all scores for Darussafaka. It's 6 points for MVP Kuban, so the big stars doing the work early.
Yeah, the big guys getting the work done. Interesting, it's not been an overly physical game either so far. Not very many fouls called, only 2 free throws in that first quarter. That means a lot of jump shots been going up, not a huge amount of layups. Seeing this one here by Quali, there's no real attack at the rim. The only man we've had doing it was Ragland. I like the comments, is a good example on that drive there. That will change as the legs get heavy. 2 games is important in this in 48 hours. Guys are going to get tired as the game goes on, which is why both coaches got deep into their bench.
We'll see who starts the second quarter here. Coach Blatt just having a quick chat with his coaching staff. First possession here to Lokomotiv Kuban. It's Lacey, Ellegaard, Ragland, Collins, and Yoniecki for Lokomotiv, and some zone defense here, Martin. 2-3 zone from Darussafaka.
Well, he threw that zone up at the end of game 1 and completely baffled the Lokomotiv team. Gone too early on here.
Collins spinning the low post, can't get any love from the rim. Marty Collins struggling to score tonight, no baskets yet.
Yeah, he's not a high percentage shooter. What he does really well is he creates his own shot and shoot over smaller players. But he needs to get in the finish. And Juwan Johnson is continuing in an awesome vein. You see that defensive rebound he pulled in.
Coming to the step-back shot, which was a 2. It's off the mark. They've got a foul here on Lacey, who was competing for the rebound. Look at Obradovic, passionate, involved in the game.
Well, he wants his team to box out strong. These teams are almost identical, both of them conceding about 9.5 offensive rebounds a game. So Sasha will not be liking seeing that, considering his team have already given up 4.
Well, we're going to get Kidd for a push-off, Martin. And it was very quick. Stanton Kidd trying to make some space for himself to catch the pass, gets called for a push-up. And I think the referees have got this just about right. I'm not sure if we're going to see it again. But Kidd draws the offensive foul. So Darussafaka now show man defense. Come out of that zone. Ragland hard to the rack. Good stand. And last touch by a green hand, so Lokomotiv keep possession.
And you like the aggression there by Ragland. He's saying, I'm the smallest guy in the gym, but Mr. Johnson, I'm not scared of your shot blocking abilities. Attacking the rim hard. And you've got to think that Lokomotiv, these shots are going to start to fall eventually. I mean, they shot atrociously in game 1. They're not too great here in game 2.
Collins gets to the halo, steps back, and finally, Marty Collins opens his scoring account with that baby J.
First bucket of the night for their leading scorer. To the law of averages now, you expect him to make his next 2 or 3.
That's a real shooter's mentality, Martin. Shoot to get hot and shoot to stay hot. Those guys sometimes don't have a conscience. Speaking of which, here's one of them here. Wilbekin with a deep 3. Count it! Oh, Scottie Wilbekin making it rain.
I think his conscience is up in row ZZ.
That's outside the building, almost where that shot came from, a deep 3 with Wilbekin, but nothing but net. Darussafaka now lead by 5, their largest lead. Lacey tries to respond and gets it.
What a contrast to Wednesday night. You've got these teams here starting to make some jumpers. You get the feeling that the team can draw some fouls as well, get some free throws. It could be a huge difference.
Darussafaka struggled from the free throw line on Monday night. They missed 10 free throws, shot just 63%. Here's Cummings. Now with the mismatch. A good steal by Raglan.
Yeah, guess who? Raglan taking on Johnson, both ends of the floor.
The little man comes up with the steal. Can Kuban turn it into points? Lacey wants the high ball screen. Shot clock under 10. Lacey going at Cummings. And what great defense by Wilbekin. Martin, that's your best offensive player who's playing hard-nosed defense for Darussafaka.
Yeah, contrast that with the defense by Kulagin. Hated that play, by the way, by Lokomotiv. Lacey waving his whole team off and comes up with nothing. And ultimately, what was he scared of? Juwan Johnson got into the paint. Raglan went in there, tried to lay it. He goes in there and he's looking for the bailout. That's why Wilbekin can go in there and get that steal.
You know, Johnson had those 4 blocks in game 1, so certainly his presence is known. And sometimes, Martin, shot blockers don't have to block shots, but they just change the way you go about your offense.
Yeah, but your mentality, you can't be intimidated by a guy who blocked shots 2 days ago. They're giving out championships for these games here. You come with your best game.
Well, here are the 2 best offensive players going at it, Wilbekin and Kulagin. Wilbekin draws a double team, passes out of it. And that jump shot short by Johnson.
It's
Kulagin
a step outside his range. He has got that face-up jump shot, but he needs to be 2 steps inside the three-point line. If he can see the three-point line when he winds it up, he needs to pass the ball.
I thought you were a member of the big man union right here. You're telling the big man to give the ball up.
No, the big man needs to be able to shoot the free throw line jump shot. 45-degree angle. If you can't use the backboard, give it to the guard.
I'm going to write that down. You're saying to give it to the guard. Sometimes those big guys give it to the guard. They never see it again.
You know, I'm a big fan of the big man brotherhood, but sometimes brains over brawn. You got other guys on your team that Wilbekin's paid to not have a conscience. Juwan Johnson is not. Pass the ball, big fella. Go get me some rebounds.
You heard it from my partner, Martin Henlin. A little pressure up the floor here from Kuban. Wilbekin and Kulagin. Great matchup here between these 2 players. Here's the entry pass onto the wing. And there it is. Wilbekin flashes back to the ball. The floater, good. Well, Scottie Wilbekin has got 12 points, marked, and he's missed only 1 shot.
And don't forget, he had that 41-point super show earlier on this season. Don't think that's not in the back of the minds of the Lokomotiv team. Gotta find a way to shut him down.
41 points and 10 threes against Bayern Munich in the semifinals. We've got a foul here, which goes against Lokomotiv Kuban. It's a moving
Legal
screen.
screen for Ivlev. You know, one way to shut down a scorer is to make him work on defense. And the offensive Krasnodar right now, they're not really executing something. You got to run Wilbekin off screens, make him chase somebody baseline, just have him stand around up top, get himself fresh as a daisy. He might hurt you.
Wilbekin draws all kinds of attention from white jerseys, gets to the lane and earns himself a trip to the line.
Yeah, Ilnitsky had step late getting in there. Got to think, you know, that at this point in time, you've got to start thinking about dramatic ways of getting the ball out of the hands of Scottie Wilbekin. Maybe face guarding him all over the floor, double team the moment he catches the ball. You need to disrupt the offense. This Darussafaka offense has got a rhythm that is starting to just keep the scoreboard ticking over.
Yeah, Kuban did that in game 1, Martin. At times there was no help responsibility from Wilbekin's defender. You know, wherever Wilbekin went, his defender went with him. As you said, completely face guarding him. Wilbekin first trip to the line.
And that's not a bad strategy because you just turn the game into 4-on-4. You know, it's not as if you're sending 2 players with him all over the court. You take him out of the game. And you need to be more physical as well. You've got to try and bump him, grind him, you know, try and wear him down.
He missed that second free throw, did the Floridian. 6 points the difference. Good fluency here on offense now from Kuban. Pass inside. And Quali powers it up and in and puts the power and power forward.
And you know what he got there? He started pump faking. He was checking the jersey numbers. Where's Johnson? He's on the bench. Okay, I'll take it out.
Well, Quali with the deuce.
And he's perfect from the field so far. Just what they need.
Look at how Kulagin's overplaying and denying Wilbekin. Sandro's going to try and take the ball to the rim. No good. Collins with the rebound.
And you haven't got to face guard Wilbekin for the whole game. Just to get him out of the offense. It's amazing how quick teams forget how they got to the position they were in.
Quali gets another touch. Quick release, and that is good. And my partner next to me, the big man, you're pumping your fist. You love it when those big guys score.
The big man brotherhood. Big guys. Every time you catch it, shoot it. Isn't that what I said before?
Well, there it is. Great touch by Quali. He knocks it down. He acknowledges the pass to the little guard who gave it to him, and there's 2 points in it as we have a timeout.
He had to come up big. Brian Quali, 4 from 4, 8 points on the night. Exactly what Dr. Obradovic ordered for his team.
We're bang on the midway mark here of the second quarter. Lokomotiv Kuban, as we mentioned in our opening comments, have won this competition in 2013. It's been a great period for the club, Martin. 2013, they were EuroCup champions. 2016, they were in the EuroLeague Final Four. So it's been a real good passage for Lokomotiv Kuban.
Well, they're trying to build a club with the kind of heritage that some of the other great franchises have got in Russia. Of course, you know, they're not just them. You've got, obviously, CSKA is the benchmark that they all set aim against. And you have to think about it, everybody wants to get the prize. It's not just a piece of silverware. You get to go to the EuroLeague, and it could transform the fortunes, not just financially, but from a fan base perspective, if you get there. Krasnodar, you know, it's a city, it's a while away from Moscow. This is not the same as being in Moscow where you're, you know, with a huge fan base. So this team is passionate about what they're doing. They've got a handy football team too, you know, but Zenit St. Petersburg, same kind of strategy.
This is the 4th time that these two teams have met each other. They met back in the 2015-2016 EuroLeague where they split. Monday night was the 3rd time. Here it is, the 4th occasion these two teams have gone against each other. Nice skip pass to St. Rose, who lets fly. Pretty basketball by Darussafaka.
Wow, that's a great call. Coach Blatt draws it up in the timeout, and his team come up with the goods. Maybe Lokomotiv could relax a little bit to see Wilbekin not on the floor. So they take the pressure off the gas, and Sanruz, same spot, same result.
Sanruz knocks it down to push the difference to 5, and right away Obradovic wants to talk things through.
We mentioned his timeout strategy. You know, immediately his team scores a bucket, and I've just, you know, that was a 16 seconds of court time before he had to call timeout. What happened in that offense that meant that you didn't tell your team 30 seconds ago?
Yeah, it's a good question, and there's no knowing why Obradovic is calling the timeout here, but you're quite right. It's a quick 16 seconds. They're right back. The measure of a good timeout is, can you come out and execute a good offensive set? Darussafaka did just that. Now it's Lokomotiv's turn to see if they can get the shot they want.
Yeah, but both coaches are working both ends of the floor here. Great penetration kick from Ulubai, and Sanruz strokes the 3. Okay, you don't think Blatt hasn't going to put some little wrinkle on his defense? Could he come up with his own now? Again, he's tested it with him a little bit.
That's the thing about a timeout, Martin. You're exactly right. So if the game progresses, you know that Darussafaka are going to play man. You're straight into your man sets. Now you're coming out, and whatever you draw up, you're not sure if you're going to get a press, if you're going to get zone, if you're going to get man.
And indeed, you got full court pressure coming up. He hasn't shown this. Could he drop from this right back into a zone? Keep him guessing. You see Obradovic is trying to, I think he wants the pace of the game to increase.
Collins off the screen from Quali. Collins on the left hand rises. And we've got a foul. I think it's on Kidd. Kidd saying, hey, who, me?
See, that's what Marty Collins is good at, though. He can get by. It's not explosive speed, but he's strong.
33 years of age, Collins. It's tough to say. There's a lot of basketball on that one, Martin.
I'm not a referee. I don't even have a black top with blue sleeves. That's for them to blow the whistle.
No argument from this man. Marty Collins steps to the line, knocks down the first free throw. And for guys who are struggling to score, they love to get to the line, don't they? Just see that ball go through the rim, get a little rhythm. Makes both free throws, Collins.
And on the road here, the atmosphere is not the fire that we would have expected. So Loko have done a good job of, this Darussafaka's fans are still loud, but it's not the hot house you're expecting.
Again, a cross-court pass to Cummings. And that one strikes iron.
And if you're Loko, you just want to be in this game at halftime.
Quick release by Bab off the mark.
Yeah, Bab is in that mentality that every time he touches the ball, because he's a scorer, he has to put it up. But he doesn't. It's okay to make the defense play a little bit.
It's exactly what Darussafaka are doing now here. Spacing, moving the ball. Making Kuban close out. Cummings just lost his footing, has to move it on to Senruz, who lines up at 3 at the death of the shot clock, no good, and Lacey chases down the rebound for Loko. Raglan calls the half-court set. Lokomotiv get to their spots. Here's Quali coming off a
Great
little for
ball.
big screen, right to the low post.
That's great maturity by the Lokomotiv team. They recognize who the hot hand was. They call the set, and it's like Brian Quali, let's get him going to work down there.
It's Aldemir with the foul.
And that's where sometimes less coaching the better. Sasha, this team has won 20 games for you this year. Let them play. They know how to get there. Then you coach them in the changing room at halftime. That's what the best coaches in Europe do.
Do your work in practice, make your adjustments when you need to, trust your players.
Well, a good example is you look at Dimitri Atudis with Seska. He calls timeouts, he draws things up, but and I'm sure he yells and screams in practice, but in the game, who am I going to tell these guys what to do?
Bab with a ball fake to open up his shot, just can't find his touch. Bab, and offensive rebound for Quali, looking for a guard.
He's lost his dribble, needs some help. Bab might not be playing much more if he just keeps cat-jacking every time he puts it up.
Bab 0 for 3 right now, and it wouldn't drop. Kulagin couldn't flush it.
Got him.
The runner up and good.
Antipov. I said it's the domestic players, and I've been going on this same mantra for years now. Ultimately, Wilbekin will be the MVP if Darussafaka wins, but it'll be your Turkish core, or in the case of Lokomotiv, the Russian core that makes a difference. Big play by Antipov.
And Wilbekin comes out. He's been unerring in this one. He looks to the crowd. He shows them the 3 goggles. And Wilbekin with 16 points. Lost his defender and knocks down the triple.
Yeah, and Trevor Lacey, you just can't afford to trip over. You can't. The guy's on fire. Fall over tomorrow.
Trevor Lacey draws the foul here on Beigel. Beigel just trying to slide around the screen here from Quali.
It's the hand on the back, though. It's almost like the post play. But you'll accept that foul. 8 minutes in and he's still not in the bonus.
Yeah, just the 3rd team foul on Darussafaka, so it's sideline ball here. Lacey steps out. He goes down to his teammate saying, now you guys try and guard Scottie Wilbekin. See what you can do.
Yeah, Babarin getting some court time. He hasn't had a lot. Another veteran guard.
Babarin didn't play in game 1.
The only player to give him a DNP.
Was open in the corner, didn't get it. Now Kulagin, shot clock under 10. Nice pass into Quali. Quali goes right back to that left-handed jump hook, and it's good.
Wow, I need to be a coach. That's just outstanding. Brian, thank you. The check's in the mail. 5 of 5. Brian Quali.
Give the big man the ball. Wilbekin trying to shake free of Kulagin. Gets ball screens, gets screens off the ball. Keeps his dribble alive. Slithers in the lane and high off the glass, no good. Good defense by Kulagin.
Yeah, good team defense as well. Because they take away that jump shot, and when he gets in the paint, they're challenging without fouling.
Kuban with a chance to draw level here. They have trailed throughout large passages of this first half. Again into Quali. Quali
Surely not.
to the right hand. That's off the mark.
change hand. That's not his hand, he's finished. He goes over that right shoulder, not over his left. Good move by Sanruz.
Sanruz gives it up. And 10 of the shot clock now.
How tight is the defense coming up now? Both ends of the floor, teams stepping up the pressure.
You can see Kulagin staying within touching distance of Wilbekin. Mid-range jump shot by Weigl off the mark. And again, Lokomotiv with a chance to draw level this trip down the floor. A good crossover dribble here by Kulagin. And he's going to go to the line to throw it twice.
Yeah, well, as I say, the defensive intensity increasing. Weigl didn't really need to give that foul up. Trusting your defense there. You know, he's 1.5 meters, 2 meters beyond the three-point line. He's not Scottie Wilbekin. Back up, just force him to his weaker hand.
Yeah, you can see Weigl there just screaming to his teammates for help. By that stage, he was already beaten, and so Kulagin will go to the line. Knocks down the first one.
Well, that's why we love the EuroCup, Liam. You know, this Darussafaka goes into the hornet's nest, steals one in Krasnodar, and here come the Russians.
Absolutely, honors even at 33 each. Kulagin knocks down both free throws. It's Blatt's turn to call a timeout with less than a minute to play here in the first half of Game 2 of the EuroCup Finals.
So now this is the coaching competition.
Here's a question now for you, Martin. I beg your pardon. Yeah, sorry. So 46 seconds left. Darussafaka, are they going to come out and look for a quick 2-for-1 here, potentially?
Well, maybe if Wilbekin can get himself open and pull the trigger from 3 and keep the hard hand. But equally, I think that for your Blatt, what you're going to do is to execute and get a good shot out of this. 2-for-1 going into the halftime. Even if you make it, best case scenario, you're up by 4. What you really want to do is make Lokomotiv work on defense. If you get a play like this again and someone like Sanruz can come up and nail the 3, makes you feel good because it's not all about this man here.
Well, he's certainly having a good night. Scottie Wilbekin, 16 points.
Maybe if you're Sasha, you trick Blatt with playing with his own games. Maybe we'll throw up a zone.
Yeah, changing the defense.
I'm just saying, this is where the coaches earn their corn.
We'll see what sort of defense Kuban come out with. It'll be baseline ball, so Darussafaka will have to go the length of the floor. Obradovic just having a word with the referee there. Nobody in foul trouble yet. Kidd with 2 fouls for Darussafaka. Weigl with 3. Nobody in foul trouble for Kuban.
I'll say this though, Loco really haven't picked up their defense in this second quarter, only giving up 12 points so far. Real tough effort by the men in white.
Here's Wilbekin guarded by Bab. Gets a little handoff, gets it back. Now the double team from Burin comes over to help out. So there's the answer to that question. It's not going to be a quick 2-for-1. Wilbekin with a 3. Got it! Oh, Scottie Wilbekin's on fire!
Well, say get a good shot, get the best shot you can. Basically, just give the ball to Scottie and get out of the way.
19 points. He's 4 for 5 from behind the rainbow. That one is pure as you like. And now it's Obradovic's chance to burn his last time out, chasing 3 points before we go into the halftime changing rooms.
At some point in time, you just have to acknowledge that this guy is not going to miss, and you double team him the moment he takes the ball in his hands. That time they try to put Chris Babb on him because he's got the length. But Scotty's, if anything, you're helping his shot. He just put a little extra arc on it. He hasn't touched the rim yet with his shots, let alone miss one.
Just looking at his line right now, Martin. So Wilbekin 3 for 4 from inside the arc, 4 for 5 from beyond. He's shooting 80% from three-point land.
Well, you talk about his stat line. Send him to the free throw line. He's only 50% there.
Yeah, just the 1 trip to the line, 1 for 2. As you look at highlights here. There's Wilbekin there. Even that goes. Surrounded by white jerseys. Able to get the ball to drop. Just taking a look at the rebounds. 12 team rebounds for Darussafaka and 16 for Lokomotiv. and just the 4 offensive rebounds for Lokomotiv. So Darussafaka doing a much better job tonight of looking after their defensive backboard.
And they gave it those offensive rebounds all in the first quarter. So that's a good performance. Both these teams, at some point in time, we're trying to highlight things that they can change. We've got 2 heavyweights going at it, and both teams are playing exceptional basketball.
Marty Collins now winning seconds of the first half across the midcourt stripe. Both teams are in the penalty.
There's the zone.
And there it is. So Darussafaka show man, then switched to zone. One of the chess game between the coaches. The pass inside to Quali. And imagine that, Martin, just changing the defense ever so slightly caused the turnover.
That's a good pass down there. But you see the difference. You know, I'm joking about it, but Brian Quali wants no part of Juwan Johnson. He doesn't like those athletic, bouncy bigs. He wants a big, heavy body he can bang against. Trying to fill, but Johnson takes his eye off the basketball, and he's got to give up position for possession.
So Quali steps out, he goes down to big man's union, and he talks to Elgar. Now 5 seconds left. Wilbekin gives it right back to the inbounder. Darussafaka, oh, excellent movement by Darussafaka, the three's on the way, they got it!
Ouch.
Oh, Darussafaka with the last basket to end the first half. It's Usman Rak who knocks it down, but Martin, talk about perfect execution of an end-of-game situation, and this time an end-of-half situation, and they get 3 points.
And look at this. This is a coaching drill that they do in practice. That lineup on the floor, this is probably the scout team when they're in practice. These guys love a chance to play together, and that was just run. That's something these guys have been running against since they were 12 years old.
It's the domestic players who make the basket here.
Excellent coaching by Coach Blatt. They may be waving it off. Either that or they've cancelled the coffee machines outside in the stands.
Well, it's Usman Rak who knocks down the 3 in the corner, and exactly right, partner. I think the referees are looking at this right now just to make sure that he got the ball off before the buzzer went off.
You have to say, in the crunch moments of the game, 1 and tonight, it's been Blatt who's been on top. That was excellent coaching. Off the back of the turnover, he goes to the subs. Didn't he know? Thing is that by doing that, he doesn't have to draw a play up. These guys are on the same scrub team, if you like, in practice every day. I got a chance to shine. Kick, execution of the break, 3 points at the buzzer.
This is Quali, his thoughts. Sorry, we don't have the audio for this interview as we grab Quali just before he goes into the changing room. Unfortunately, Martin, I didn't see the signal from the referee, whether it was good or not. Let's see if we can hear this half-court interview.
Still can't hear Sanrus. Fans seem happy though, Liam. Scoreboard hasn't changed on my stat sheet. I think the bucket counts.
We'll stay with us now as we give you some halftime intermission analysis of this. Sanrus just chatting to the courtside journalist, making his way into the change room. He has 6 points. Waiting for the official score. Right now it looks like it's 39-33, so 6 points to Darussafaka. And Martin, in games like this, you know, this game went to overtime. There it is, your halftime score. Darussafaka up 6 here, 39-33 at home. See if we get some highlights from the first half of play. Sets of players. Here's your quarter scores for Darussafaka. Won the first quarter by 4, the second quarter by 2. Make that 6 points difference.
But they had 6 points in the last minute of that second quarter. The timing of the buckets that makes all the difference at this level.
Yeah, Mark, this, you know, the first game, as we said already, went to overtime, and the margins between these teams are so slender. So a basket like this is huge for Darussafaka.
Yeah, I just say that last minute, give the coaching awards goes to Blatt.
Well, here's your first half highlights. A half which seesawed back and forth. Kulagin with the basket here, and Wilbekin has been en fuego. 19 points for the Floridian. He's leading the charge for Darussafaka, the only player in double digits. Sanrus with 6, the second leading scorer for Darussafaka. As for Lokomotiv Kuban, it's a committee of players. Quali with 10 points and Kulagin with 8. You see highlights. Passes inside to Quali, scored with his left hand, scored right hand. And that's exactly what you're talking about there, partner. You get a chance to bang against Eldemir, but not so much against Johnson. Quali showing some mobility. Left hand score there. Will Cummins coming off the bench as he did in game 1 and providing some positive minutes. Johnson with that baseline jump shot. Well, still plenty of basketball in this one, but if you're Darussafaka up 6 at halftime, you're right where you want to be.
Yeah, you're feeling good. If it wasn't for that last bucket at the buzzer there, both coaches would be feeling pretty good about it. If you're Lokomotiv, you want to keep it close on the road. You know you've got the pedigree to win away from home. But that 6-point window with this guy here, as hard as he has been, that's going to be a tough pullback in a game that you've only scored 33. So 39-33 at halftime. That 6-point win is huge in a game that's in the 30s. If it's in the 40s or 50s, yeah, well, maybe we'll get that 60 points back.
Good point.
You know, Darussafaka's averaging 79 on the season, so they're on track to hit their par score. Lokomotiv averaging just over 80, so they're well under their scoring average.
Of course, on the other side of this, both of these teams are outstanding defensively, so you might not get what you're usually accustomed to. And so any basket is precious inside the Volkswagen Arena here. Well, here's a line, Martin. What jumps out at you here from this stat?
Oh, 3-point percentage, 8 of 13, 1 of 5. Just yells that Loco's got to do a better job guarding behind the 3-point line. But comparing that to game 1, Lokomotiv have not done a poor job. They're 12 of 23 from inside the arc. They shot 30% on Wednesday night, so it's not a bad performance. And offensively, will find a way to score, but they've got to find.
Oh, easy basket inside. The first dunk of the night, right from the out-of-bounds play. So Kuban will get the last possession. Let's fly! And he knocks down a 3 right in the death of the first quarter. Lokomotiv Kuban fans. Now he'll get in the lane, move it on, one pass, and a dunk inside. Wilbekin with his second assist. Collins, good individual skill by the American, and he knocks down that mid-range jump shot. Cummings, baseline jump shot off the mark, and another offensive rebound here for Darussafaka. And Scottie Wilbekin profits. Oh, Collins picks the pocket of Wilbekin. Can he convert now in transition and move to half-stop and get it back? Oh, what a block inside! Kulagin just keeping the ball in his hands. Oh, nice crossover dribble. And a little kiss off the glass by Kulagin. Collins kicks it out to Raglan, who steps into a 3, and he knocks that down. And this will bring a timeout from Coach Blatt. Collins now gonna go to work. Step back shot from the elbow, short, and Kulagin with the offensive rebound and the putback. Well, Joe, that very well may be the basket that's going to win it here for Kuban. A steal straight away. St. Rose gives it to Wilbekin. The 3 will tie it up. Oh, Scottie Wilbekin ties it up for Darussafaka. Collins, this will win it if it goes. It's off the heel of the rim. I cannot believe it. We're going to overtime. Kulagin showing some skills. He lost it. It's Cummings again with a steal. He'll give it up, and the lay-in at 1. Speaking of going up the alley-oop, and it drops.
But now they're going to go right to man-to-man.
Raglan lays it. Oh, what a block! Great block by Johnson, and that might seal it for Darussafaka. Need a 3 to tie it. Kulagin got up his foot, leans in. Off the mark. Well, double overtime's not going to happen in game 1 in the hands of the visitors. It's been an outstanding game of basketball, very much befitting a final. So Kuban will get the last possession. Let's fly! He knocks down a 3 right in the death of the first quarter. Oh, Collins picks the pocket of Wilbekin. Can he convert now in transition and move to half-stop and get it back? Oh, what a block inside! Johnson with a great effort.
And that's how you win championships right there, Liam. You have to get back and never give up on a play.
A steal straight away. St. Rose gives it to Wilbekin. The 3 will tie it up. Oh! Scottie Wilbekin ties it up for Darussafaka.
Spectacular defense by Cummins and finishing it on the fast break against two players. Cummins inside boxing out the big man.
Will Cummins has been outstanding.
Oh, what a nice move right there by Will Cummins. Cummins says, keep it coming, baby. It's all me tonight. There's no doubt about it. Will Cummins is the man for Darussafaka.
Volkswagen Arena. In this Game 2, the championship series in the 2018 EuroCup, Darussafaka up here at home by 6, 39-33. If you're with us in the first half, welcome back. If you're just joining us here in Istanbul, a very warm welcome to you. It's been an entertaining first half of basketball. We're standing by, Martin, to see if we can get some thoughts of the coaches as they make their way out of the changing rooms, but maybe some of your thoughts on what you saw in the first half.
Well, a tight battle as we expected, but you've got to give credit to the home side because Lokomotiv looked like they were going to start to squeeze the life out of this game, getting it under control. But as the stats tell you, Darussafaka just keep coming up and making big shot after big shot. Scottie Wilbekin's the headline with his 19 points. But 8 of 13 behind the arc, those are tough numbers to beat.
Yeah, 8 of 13 as a team, which is 61% from behind the three-point line. You'd hope, I think, as a team, Mark, maybe 40% would be your target. So they are shooting outstanding from distance.
Well, as the old, the maths goes, 33% from the three-point line is equivalent to 50% inside the arc. So at 61%, that's some sizzling hot shooting. And especially as Lokomotiv, they appear to not have three-point shooting as a weapon tonight. They're 1 of 5. So, you know, they've got to find a way to take those three ball away from the Turkish team.
It's Wilbekin who's knocked down 4, and then Bushman is back to 1 at the end, and Weigel with a 3 each, and then Sanruz has got a couple of threes himself. Here's Coach Obradovic, who's at the helm of Kuban. We'll get his thoughts here. Well, sorry for the technical glitch. We don't have any audio
some
here
of those
from
were
Coach
hard
Obradovic.
shots, we have to do a much better, job on Wilbekin. We agree that, this guy won't shoot, but somehow he find the way, so we accept, maybe Santros, threes, because he is inconsistent, but we gotta definitely do the better job at Wilbekin.
Thank you.
So certainly an obvious comment there from Coach Obradovic. They got to somehow find a way to neutralize the influence of Wilbekin. It'd be easier said than done.
But interesting point that he said, he said, look, we can accept Sanruz making threes because he's an inconsistent shooter, but Wilbekin, every guy on our team must know we got to take the three-point shot away from him. And he's got, how many has he got off tonight? 4 he's already got off?
Yeah, he's got 5, 4 for 5. Here's Coach Blatt. We hope to get his thoughts.
Well, 6-point lead, a little bit closer to winning the title, but what's going to be the key in the second half to lift the trophy?
Well, I think we got to keep rebounding the ball. I'd like to see us do a little bit better in transition to try to get some easy ones. We got to keep defending at a high level.
Thank you, Coach.
Yeah, Martin, we haven't seen much transition basketball from either team, really. It's been a sort of half-court game, hasn't it, in that first half?
Well, I think what Coach Blatt is alluding to there is his team, that they're playing a high level of defense, and the rewards that they deserve to get out of that are some transition buckets. And that's to say, he'd like to get a bit more out of that. Rebounding-wise, okay, they're being out-rebounded by 4, but that's mainly because Lokomotiv have missed more shots than them. There's more missed shots to be had. His team are playing well. His team are playing championship basketball. And Krasnodar, they're not out of it by any means, but they're going to have to get some other players that come up with some scores, and they've got to keep that defense again. If they hold Darussafaka to 39 points again, that's okay, but that means that puts more pressure on their offensive output. Their shooting percentage need to come up, and they have to make some threes and draw some free throws. 6 from 6 at the line. Get to the back to the line.
Yeah, neither team has gone to the line all that frequently. Just 2 free throws for Darussafaka. They're 1 for 2 from the line.
Yeah, but they've just shot jump shots all night. Krasnodar have been attacking the basket. I think there's still a bit of an intimidation factor. Juwan Johnson hasn't even got a block shot tonight, but they're still scared of him. He sat on the bench for 12 minutes, and they're still terrified of him.
Well, just get us inside the head of the Kuban players here, Martin. You know, I think it'd be fair to say that Darussafaka stole game one, right? Now all of a sudden, you come in into a do-or-die situation. The pressure is on Lokomotiv, there's no doubt about it. And here they are now at halftime down 6, and they're just going to be scratching their head thinking Wilbekin's going to kill us again. He's the guy who sent the game to overtime, and he's on fire again tonight.
Yeah, exactly. And you get this issue where sometimes players just droop a little bit, say, we can't do anything to stop this guy. You know, what normally happens is a player, I mean, what does Wilbekin shoot from the three-point line on the season? Like 41, 42%? He goes 4 from 5. As a defender, you have to think, right, well, in that case, he's going to miss his next 5 shots.
You're exactly right. Wilbekin shoots 42%, or has shot 42% from three-point land throughout the competition, so he is absolutely electric.
So if that means he's 80%, you know, in the shooter's mentality, you miss your first 4, I'm going to make my next 4. As a defender's mentality, if he's made 4 of his first 5, okay, well, he's definitely going to miss his next 3. Because they tend to come back to their percentages.
The law of averages.
Or you can just lay down and die and let him have a 10 3-pointer night.
Yeah,
don't forget that as well. That 41.2% includes the night when he was 10 from 11. So if you pull that out, he's probably about a 37, 38% three-point shooter.
Yeah, Wilbekin made those 10 threes in the semifinal against Bayern Munich. He needs 12 to break the single season record. And coming into tonight, Martin, Wilbekin needs 7 more threes to set the record for the single season. The holder, Chris Lofton from Besiktas, set the record back in 2014. He has 63 threes. So certainly Wilbekin close to that tonight. He's got 4, needs 3 more to get the record.
Well, the good news for Lokomotiv is this game is not going to be won or lost in the next 2 minutes of action. They've got a chance to come out. They just need to play tough. The most important is to hold Darussafaka down so they don't keep scoring. You know, we're saying it's a hard thing to do, keep Wilbekin under control. They will find a way to score. They've got to expect that they can put up 40 points here in the second half. That's what they've got to think. Okay, so I'm down by 6, I'm going to score 40. I've got to hold Darussafaka into the low 30s. That's the approach that they have. And if they keep the quarter scores going the way they did, they gave up 21 in the first, 18 in the second. Their target now is to hold Darussafaka down to 16, 17 points.
Just to remind the viewers how the teams got here, Lokomotiv Kuban in the quarterfinals swept Gran Canaria 2-0. In the semifinals, beat Reggio Emilia, swept them 2-0. As for Darussafaka, they beat Podgorica 2-0 in the quarters, and then had a tough semifinal series against Bayern. And won both of those games. The first team to beat Bayern at home this season. First possession here to Darussafaka in the green uniforms, Lokomotiv Kuban in the white. Welcome back to viewers who saw us in the first half, and a very warm welcome to anyone joining us here for the second half. Good hard defense here by Kuban. They pressure the ball. You can see how much attention Wilbekin draws. Has to move it on. Shot clock under 5. Sam Rose with the 3, and good defense here, Martin, by Loco.
Yeah, good defense. You see they're on Scottie Wilbekin like a cheap suit. He is not going to get an open 3.
You see what Loco looking for here offensively. Quality trying to put his defender on his back. Kulag, and there's the up fake, the craftiness that you talk about, and he draws the foul.
Well, it's tough to guard, especially for a guy that like Sam Roos is always trying to get the steals. You know, Kalagin is just smart. He knows that he's going to be able to get him off his feet. And I mentioned try to get to the free throw line. This is how you do it. He's trying to draw fouls. Let's get in the bonus.
First team foul against Darussafaka. Collins down on the low block, directing traffic. Collins steps back for that. ABJ just rattles in and out. Marty Collins struggled in the first quarter.
You'd like to see him go to a quick move. You know, to get Trinity more effective, they need more movement off the ball by the other players so the defenders can't stand there and but you want quickness. It's just happening too slow in the post from Collins so far tonight.
Joe Ragland commits the foul here, guarding the basketball. So each team with a possession and neither team with a score. Here's Ragland, a little bump on the ball, and he gets called for the foul. Darussafaka Slide the ball into Eric in the low post. Got a mismatch on Collins. And Collins gets called for that hand-checking foul you've been talking about, Martin.
Yep, hand on the hip. Watch the left hand, see the hand there when he spins, that's a foul. So the moment he goes to something, the referee can call foul.
Let's get the fives on the floor sorted out for Kuban. It's Collins, Lacey, Ivlev, Hofstoff, and Quali. Darussafaka come back with Wilbekin, Willoughby, Sanruz, Johnson, and Eric. Shot off the mark for Darussafaka. There's Collins now on the perimeter. No hesitation. Scottie Wilbekin defends well. Raglan, left-hand scoop opportunity, no good. Good defense by both sets of players.
Very static offense by Lokomotiv, though.
Oh, great defense from behind by Marty Collins. Somehow stripped Eric.
Out of bounds.
What a defensive play by Marty Collins. He strips Michael Eric and forces the turnover.
Yeah, Eric, though, he needs to just lay it up, big fella. Trying to get the glory dunk. That's why you left the opportunity. But you're right, tough play by Collins. You expect tough play from Tough Juice.
Never
but this
standing
around offense, they're not executing anything.
Kulogin goes down in the low post, powers it up. And a great defensive stand here by Michael Eric, who rotates over from the help side.
Yeah, great help from Eric, making up the mistake at the other end. Kulogin with that pump allows a shot block of the challenge. A great thing by Eric there. He doesn't go after the ball. He goes to the top of the small square. Just elevate.
My partner here next to me is putting his hands straight up in the air, and Eric did just that. A kick ball against Darussafaka. This gets a new shot clock to Kuban.
Krasnodar they need more movement by more players on the floor. I accept that they want to post up Kulogin last time, but when they get the ball to him down low, everybody stands around and watches so the 5 green jerseys can converge.
Collapse on the basketball. Inline ball here as Collins tries to bring it in. Collins from the free throw line. And it gets the shooter's roll. Brodovich shouting to his players, get a stop, get a stop. Good closeout on the perimeter. Great hands by Raglan. And now shot clock running down. Sangro's gonna try and make something happen on the left hand. His runner, no good. Johnson had it momentarily. Last touch by a Loco hand. Martin, sometimes coaches talk about deflections, tips defensively. Maybe you don't get a steal, maybe you don't get a turnover, but just a deflection will unsettle an offense.
Yeah, well, Raglan broke up the play you said before, but you know, one of the things that happened very much in favor of Loco on Wednesday night was they had 7 team offensive rebounds, just like that, broken plays.
The 3 from Johnson from the corner. Rattles home off the assist from Wilbekin.
Well, you know, I said that Johnson's range was inside the 3-point arc, unless he's wide open, uncontested like that.
Listen, I wasn't going to go there. I wasn't going to say that you thought he was out of his range, so you corrected yourself.
It's a different kind of shot, that's all I will say. But remember I was talking about Marty Collins, as it starts to come? Starting to flow now. That mid-range jumper off 1-2 dribbles. That's back-to-back buckets is made. They've got to keep getting stops, though. Raglan gets another steal almost.
Here's Eric now in the low post, going at Quali. Spins back to the baseline and earns himself a trip to the line.
Yeah, Quali needs to understand he's not going to get any help down low. Now, he should be able to guard Eric there. I was talking about the arm bar. He didn't offer it to him. He just starts dancing and puts his hands back. He's got to try and hold Eric outside the paint. If Eric gets in there, he's too strong for him.
Eric will toe the line now and throw it twice as Frank Ellegaard comes in to replace Quali.
Well, for all I was singing the praises of Quali coming up with the 10 points in the first half, Frank Ellegaard tonight missing in action. Hasn't given us any kind of production.
No points, no baskets, 1 rebound. That's not a good line for a big guy.
Not when we said the battle in the paint was going to be huge.
misses both free throws, stuck on 2 points. Raglan off a stagger screen. Gallagher re-screens. Raglan losing the handle on the basketball. Shot clock at 5. Collins, deep 3. Strikes iron, good hustle play, but Wilbekin comes up with it.
Just too static. I keep saying it's like they're playing in treacle. They need to get their dancing shoes on offense, Lokomotiv. They're just standing around.
We might have to remind our viewers what treacle is.
Molasses, honey, mud. And Raglan, who I like his aggression, and he played well in the first half. Trying to dribble a hole in the floor here in the second. That's why he's got to go sit down.
So Raglan gets some pine time. Cummings now in the game for the first time, in the second half here for Darussafaka. Kulagin steps back in for Loko. And Ellegaard. Rejection on Cummings. Good defense by Frank Ellegaard.
Yeah, better defense and good aggression on the exterior by Dimitri Vostov, forcing Cummings to the awkward drive.
Good timing there by Ellegaard, gets nothing but the basketball. Now can Loko turn it into points. Hufstoff on the floor for the first time in the second half. Bam. Oh, great steal by Sanruz. You can see why he led the competition in steals. Great defense by the Cuban international. Anticipated that give and go well. This is going to be Bab here, just trying to prevent Eldemeyer from going to the basket on the screen.
Yeah, it's funny, you know, Chris Bab, we know is a fine offensive player. I think he's frustrated because he's not getting his offense going. Defensively, he's not good either. It's amazing that, you know, you just cannot explain the psychology of basketball to the uninitiated. Confidence is such a huge factor in how teams perform. And what you're seeing right now from Darussafaka is a team that's playing with oozing in confidence. And Loko, well, they're just committing fouls. Their defense is a bit scrappy. They're still in it, but you know, this game very much, momentum is very much with the team in green.
Bab picks up his second foul, hasn't scored yet tonight, so maybe, as you say, that frustration showing its face. Big trip down the floor here for Kuban. They trail by 6 points. Kulagin trying to draw a foul. No good. Just beats the shot clock. Back from Darussafaka. You're right, Martin. That's static on offense from Kuban.
But look at the energy here. You got players moving and cutters, and they're calling an offense, which means the defense has to think.
The crowd starting to get in the game now, making their presence known. Cummings lines up a 3, rattles home, and Obradovic signals to the scorer's table, I want a timeout. The crowd starting to get influential here in this one. Cummings lines up a 3 and knocks it down over Marty Collins. Martin, those are 2 Temple University graduates right there. The 2 boys from Philadelphia right here on the European stage.
Yeah, but Collins must have been doing his homie a solid because he didn't play any kind of defense on that shot.
He was playing defense with his hands in his pockets. And Cummings with a clean look at the 3. Darussafaka enjoy their biggest lead of the night. The dance troupe adding to the pageantry here of this competition. And this is, I think, Martin, this is a big passage in the game right now. This is the largest lead that Darussafaka have enjoyed, 9 points. Kuban have really got to come out now and show some intensity.
Well, they've got to try to find a way to just turn the momentum completely. And it doesn't matter if you do it now in the third quarter or in the fourth quarter, but as it feels, the way this game is going, as I said, momentum and control, it's at the tempo that Darussafaka is happy with. You know, the shots just difficult ones for Lokomotiv. You know, they're static, nobody's moving around on offense. They keep trying to go to the post-up, but the post-up is great, but the defense is all there around them. You've got to get other players moving. I think fatigue is a factor as well. It's difficult, it's a long journey. The Darussafaka team slept in their own beds last night.
Just a reminder, it's back to the walls here for Lokomotiv. They have to win tonight to force a Game 3. It would be Monday back in Krasnodar. And Darussafaka would love to live to win right here at home. There's that zone defense again from Darussafaka, the 2-3 zone. And sometimes, Martin, they'll come out of this and straight into a man. It's like a little matchup zone.
Just to break up the offense that Sasha has drawn up in the timeout. So it's not because we're using the zone for any particular reason, but I want to keep them guessing. He would have had them ready to run a particular set. You saw the great execution from Darussafaka in the first half. By coming out in a 2-3 zone, that just kills that. So now, can this team think on their feet on the floor?
Collins pounds the rock right-handed, lost the handle. It's a turnover. And now can Darussafaka turn this into points? It's the 8th turnover against Kuban. Eldemir gets to the halo and draws the foul. I love this, Martin. I'm gonna give the big guy a pat in the back here because Eldemir runs the length of the floor and gets to the halo in transition and says, "Hey, give me the ball."
Well, straightforward rim run. You know, we hate working them on in practice, but that's where you get the reward. Different defensive ends to the other end. And the bigs of Darussafaka are controlling both ends of the floor at the moment. Yeah, Juwan Johnson, who's just, well, Marty Collins tripped over his own shoelaces in missing that last shot. But they're contesting, they're not committing fouls. Life is good if you're playing the 4 or the 5 position and wearing a green jersey.
Well, Eldemir from Izmir, Turkey, originally, in the Aegean Sea. Got his team up by 10. And that is the only double-digit lead that Darussafaka have enjoyed tonight. Big 3 minutes of play here now for Kuban as they try to trim this deficit they're facing. Lacey back on the floor. Remember, this is a Lokomotiv Kuban team went 20-0. And it's that man there, Johnson, with another block. And now Johnson becomes a rim runner. Wants it, doesn't get it from Wilbekin. Touch pass inside, and again, Martin, the big man, blocks the shot on one end and goes a length of the floor and demands the basketball.
They work in tandem. Johnson with the block and runs the floor and does the rim run. He gets the bucket, which means that Eldemir knows he's going to trail. He's coming in to offer the high screen and roll. That's where Ulubai is wide open. And then, meanwhile, Johnson's still posting up. The defense hasn't got set. This is what Coach Blatt talking about. I want some more rewards in transition. The transition offense is working for them.
So as you say, maybe not easy baskets, not easy lay-ins, but they're pushing the ball up the floor and they're making Lokomotiv Kuban scramble to match up and guard.
The defense is not balanced, it's not performing well, and okay, they're not getting dunks and layups, but they're getting free throws. And suddenly, what was a 6-point lead at halftime is now out to 11. And this is a difficult time. You know, Loco have only scored 4 points here in the second half. And a lot of that is credit the defense, but also credit the offense of Darussafaka because they've been much more aggressive.
Darussafaka got their tails up right now. Eldemir comes out, he gets some pats on the back by his teammates. In comes Sanruz. Sasha Obradovic, Martin, seems to be looking for some kind of combination. Needs somebody to get something going.
No, it's not the combination. He needs the players to play with a bit more urgency.
Raglan lets fly with a 3 and knocks it down. Big basket for Kuban.
That's the first time they've actually run an offense. They execute, they was hard cutters, end up with an open jump shot.
Wilbekin's been quiet here at the beginning of this second
Raglan,
half.
nice defense. And it's just in the blink of an eye. Just that little bit of hustle, that little bit of energy.
5 points for Raglan. Kulagin trying to lock down Wilbekin. Wilbekin yet to score in the second half. Look at the white shirts all over Wilbekin. Somebody must be open. Sanrose from inside the top of the key, no good. And Lacey with the rebound. So good pass to play here by Kuban as they try to get themselves back in this game.
They get another score. Look for the timeout from Coach Blatt.
Trying to get the ball back inside to Quali. He carried him in the first half. Trying to back down Johnson. Goes to the right hand and Johnson just swallows him up defensively.
Wow, just wants no part of it, does he? I mean, that was you think how efficient he was in the first half. It's almost like he was waiting for Johnson to block his shot.
Johnson with another three on the way. That's hard.
Wasn't wide open. I've played that position. You just got to recognize what's a good shot and what isn't.
That's a good shot right there from Raglan as he just strolls right through the defense of Darussafaka. And as you called it, partner, Coach Blatt wants to talk things over here. This man right here, right now, Joe Raglan put his teammates on his shoulder. He's got 7 points to get Lokomotiv back in this game.
With the huge steal, the huge momentum plays. And you know your credit right there? Pavel Antipov there. He blocked, he screened out Johnson and Stanton Kidd, so Raglan just can get the easy layup.
You just can't resist yourself, man. You got to give those big guys a pat on the back, don't you?
Well, Antipov is hardly a big. He's a swing player. He's a 3-4 or a 4-3. But I'll give some love to guards occasionally, but I mean, they get all the headlines anyway.
One thing is for certain, they were down 12, Lokomotiv, and all credit to them, 7-0 run. They've got themselves down by just 5 points. And of interest now, Martin, as well, Scottie Wilbekin yet to score here in the second half.
Well, the tough defense is on him, and what Coach Blatt is saying, you know, don't force it, but everybody else is going to be prepared to step up. And part of the reason why he's calling that timeout is obviously just to stop the 7-0 run, but also to get his team to recognize that just because we're up by 12, the game is not over. There's a lot of basketball to play. You've got to keep doing what got us here in the first place.
Plenty of basketball still to play here, and that man, Johnson's been influential in this. There's a great block from him. We're not going to see that full play, but then he runs a length of the floor and gets to the free throw line. Great to see the traveling fans here. Oh, sorry, those are the Dotchka fans, beg your pardon, get behind their home team. Kulagin really, wherever Wilbekin goes, Kulagin goes too. Wilbekin wants to keep the dribble now.
It's a late foul, and Kulagin knows that. He played good defense for 18 seconds. And the thing is, he knows the defense is set. If he beats you off the dribble, the help is coming. Do not put your hand in there unnecessarily.
Just 4 seconds were left on the shot clock, Martin. As you say, you got to play defense with your feet and discipline when that shot clock gets down under 10. Wilbekin earns himself a trip to the line.
Well, trust your teammates. As I say, Kulagin's job is do not let him shoot threes. If you get beat off the dribble, somebody else has got to come and clean up. But basketball players, a lot of things that are hardwired in just to do it automatically. Sticks his hand in, and you know, you send the hottest hand in the game to the free throw line.
First point of the second half for Wilbekin. He has 21 now. And here's the man who's hot right now, Raglan. Keeps the ball in his hands. Quali gets a touch. It's a good matchup here, Quali versus Johnson. And Quali draws a foul this time. Good low post play from the American.
Yeah, much better post play by Quali by attacking the basket. But also notice you got Kulagin cutting. You've got some movement, so there's no help coming in there. That allows him to exploit the one-on-one and finally draw a foul on Johnson.
Quali from North Dakota, originally in his second EuroCup season. Knocks down the free throw. Martin Kuban, perfect, 7 for 7 from the line tonight.
Well, I said it at halftime, and I wasn't joking. Draw fouls.
Just the commentator's curse right there.
Fair enough, but still, they've only drawn 3 fouls here in the third quarter, so it's not a weapon that they can use. Get yourself to the foul line, and you do that by executing an offense, cutters, hard movements, same thing that Darussafaka's doing to you.
Pass to the corner. Wilbekin gave it up. And that three strikes the heel of the rim. But the offensive rebound by Johnson gives his team another possession. Big rebound by Johnson. Wilbekin stripped from behind, but foul called. I think it's on Raglan for the reach. And those offensive rebounds, you know, will kill you, Martin, when you're chasing the game.
Yeah, when you've worked so hard to get the stop, you've got to close out and get the rebound. And that time, Quali was singing his praise on offense, didn't even think about blocking out Juwan Johnson. Looking at the ball, not finding out where his man is.
So Wilbekin going to go back to the line here. He's trying to extend that lead.
Wilbekin destroyed him at the three-point line in the first half. Here we go now. He's doing him at the free throw line. Smart player. David Blatt has got huge confidence in Wilbekin.
Martin, what a season he is having. He was the regular season MVP, all EuroCup first team, and the leading scorer in the competition throughout the year, Scottie Wilbekin.
And the thing that's unusual about that is oftentimes you get this, the best scorer will not be on one of the better teams because they tend to be more balanced. You mentioned Chris Lofton with Besiktas when he set the record for most threes in a year. That team was okay. They weren't great. Wilbekin's doing this on, well, at the moment, the best team in the EuroCup.
And talk about defense. And Martin, here's a guy who comes off the bench and digs in and plays good defense here for his coach, Uzmizrak, or beg your pardon, Uzmiroglu, with the defense. He's going to come right out now. He causes the turnover here. Raglan dribbles it off his foot. And you know what? For his efforts, you can see he's helping the referee make the call. He loves it. He's the guy who made the assist at halftime. Exactly. Now he comes right off, and in comes Wilbekin on offense.
Yeah, and sometimes you may only play 30 seconds, but how important of those 30 seconds he's given.
Gets a pat in the back from Coach Blatt. And now Darussafaka with a chance to go back to a double-digit lead.
Big
psychological advantage here.
Got to get the ball out of Wilbekin's hands. Don't let him just count you down and try and draw a foul. You've got to come. And you saw when he first got the ball in bounds, Kalagin was waving to Lacey saying, come on, double. Bring that double team. Get him to give it up. I mean, credit Kalagin because he's got scoring duties more than anybody else for Lokomotiv. But he's still taking the challenge of trying to guard the best offensive player in the EuroCup.
Yeah, that's hard. Just a second personal foul on Kulagin, Martin. And you're right, because, you know, Kulagin has to score for Kuban, but he's expending so much energy defensively. You know, sometimes coaches like to take their best scorer and give them, if you like, an easy defensive assignment, but it's a tough night here for Kulagin on both ends of the floor.
Well, and they're paying the price for it. He's got 8 points tonight, whereas, you know, how effective was he in game one? He's not getting to wheel and deal because he's exhausted chasing Scottie Wilbekin around.
And I love this. You know, Wilbekin will come out and get a couple more seconds here on the bench. In comes Uzmiroglu, who did a great job last time. It just gives Wilbekin a couple of more seconds to get a break.
Well, they got confidence in those bench players. That's what I said, that Turkish core that is coming up, stepping up in the big moments.
Collins gets to the paint, kicks to Kulagin, moves it on one more. Lacey, can he make a three here at the death? It's off the mark. Long rebound. Uzmiroglu, let's fly. Oh, it's off the mark, but what an influential couple of seconds from Uzmiroglu, who does everything for his team.
Just knew that was going in, didn't you?
Yeah, you thought it was because he did such a good job. Well, there's your score at the end of the third quarter. Darussafaka up by 10 points at home here in the EuroCup Finals. Here's your breakdown to score by quarter. Darussafaka were electric in that first quarter. Tailed off a little bit, but big ask here now. So, Martin, what's Coach Abramovich going to try and say to his team here down going into the fourth quarter?
Well, he's got to... It's hard to say what he's going to say. It's more about what lineup is he going to use. Which is the players he's going to go with. Kalagin loses a lot of energy on defense trying to guard Wilbekin. Ragland has been great in spurts, but after that little 7-0 spurt, he started just dribbling a hole in the floor again. So it's the lineup he's got to find. Darussafaka have negated the quality influence. Frank Ellegar may as well have bought popcorn and sat in the stands. Who's going to step up for them? They've done it all year long. 20 straight wins. And now I need you in the biggest game of the season. A whole bunch of you haven't shown up.
You can see the steal from Raglan. That's exactly what Coach Obradovic needs. He needs stops. He needs to turn them into baskets. I can remember my old high school coach, Martin, this is a long time ago, mind you, he used to talk about what he would call a kill. A kill is you got to get 3 defensive stops in a row, and that's a kill. And that's what guys we were always working for. And then, of course, you got to try and turn that into points.
And that's not what they're doing. And Blatt said at halftime he wanted to get some more out of his transition offense. And he got some, not huge amounts, but out of 16 points, probably 6 of those points, maybe 8, were generated by defensive stops and the bigs running the floor, wings cutting open. You know, you had a penetrating kick, Wilbekin for the assist to Johnson for 3. That's where his team is being effective.
Well, Lokomotiv Kuban have got 10 more minutes to keep their season alive. They've come here to Istanbul. They need to win this one to force a game 3 to go back to Krasnodar. As for Darussafaka, they're 10 minutes away from their first ever continental title. The 16th edition of the modern EuroCup. First possession here to Lokomotiv Kuban, and again, Darussafaka shows some zone. Raglan in space. Raglan with a big 3. Perfect start for Kuban.
That's a big bucket there by Joe Raglan. The defense was anticipating him looking to pass down to Quali, and that's a little bit ugly. We don't like to see that.
Got some debris here on it. Looks like the T-shirts.
Well, they gave the T-shirts out in the quarter break where the cheerleaders were shooting up with the guns. Clearly some of the fans said, hey, I don't like this T-shirt. It's not my size. Did I hear somebody yell out, have you got a medium as well?
There's the gun that sends him into the crowds, and referee's going to sort this out. They're going to reset the shot clock. But the perfect start for Kuban. Let's get the 5s sorted out on the floor here for Darussafaka. It's Wilbekin, Ulubai, Sanruz, Johnson, and Michael Eric. Lokomotiv come out with Collins, Antipov, Raglan, Eligar, the missing man, and Kulagin. Wilbekin keeps it alive. Here's Cummings. Gonna try to go to work. Cummings with the scoop and score, and 1. Good drive by Cummings. Well, Cummings had 19 points in game 1. Gets to the basket. And the perfect response. They'll go to the line for the old school 3-point play.
And Chris Babb just gave up on his defense a half a step before he was supposed to. Needs to stay down. Did a good job for 80% of the task at hand, but that's not good enough because you get punished by coming up 1 step short.
So each team with 3 points here to start this 4th and final quarter. Great pass into Quali.
Scared of Johnson.
And Johnson again.
Scared.
Here's a pass ahead now. Scottie Wilbekin lets fly with a deep 3, and it's just short, just graces the front of the rim, but Martin, the roof would have come off this arena had he knocked that down.
Well challenged that shot, because they looked for all the world he was going to foul him, but just goes to the end. And Ron Quali, Juan Johnson saying, you need to apologize before you even think about trying to score on me. And when I say scared, I don't mean physically scared, but he's intimidated by him.
Second block shot for Johnson. 10 points. The difference, the largest lead was 12 for Darussafaka. Collins flashes into the high post. Gets in the lane, just can't buy a basket, Marty Collins.
Well, you say Johnson's only has got 2 block shots, but he's had at least 2 or 3 other shots where it won't count as a block, where the white shirt just thrown it to him.
Marty Collins 3 for 8 from the floor. His team needs him now. It's got to try and find it. Cummings scored last trip down the floor. Cummings lets fly with a 3, and that's too strong. Little drag screen here for Lacey, trying to make something happen. Look at Wilbekin dig it in defensively.
And some color, some movement.
It is very static, you're right. Raglan maybe thought about it. Had a clean look and a little up fake. Did Eligar get it up in time? Shot clock violation.
And you just see, I think was it Trevor Lacey drove in the lane and wanted no part of challenging Juan Johnson. And that's, you know, the intimidate, they call it. Intimidation, just, you know, they do not want to challenge him. He's got great timing for a shot blocker, but you've got to find a way to draw him out then. I mean, as it stands, this guy here, Wilbekin with the ball, is going to be the outstanding player of the game. But the guy who's had the most influence for me has been Johnson.
Wilbekin, just the second turnover against Wilbekin in a moving screen, and this is just so frustrating. Martin, if you're Coach Obradovic, you know your team gets a stop, you create a steal, and you come back the other way, and you've got a moving screen, and you turn it right back over.
But credit to Will Cummins, because defensively he really was giving a lot of pressure to Lacey, and it was hard for Ellegaard to set that screen. But you're right, hugely frustrating as a coach, and he just probably got to have the feeling that, you know, we're going to get the momentum. Unfortunately, his teams are playing as if momentum is going to be created by making a score. It's going to be created by making a steal and a stop.
Ellegaard with his fourth personal foul. Great spacing by Darussafaka. Cummings just can't net the three. And here's Kulagin now. It's a 1-on-4. Look at the transition defense. 5 green jerseys, Martin, beat Lokomotiv Kuban down the floor. A great transition defense by Darussafaka.
Yeah, everybody runs back. You know, there's one guy who's got to guard the basketball. In this case, it was Cummins. Everybody else, your job is to sprint back to the Turkish Airlines logo in the free throw line area. Sprint back, find your man. And the reason why they can do that and run back to the basket first is that there's virtually 0 3-point threat from Lokomotiv on the floor.
Ragland goes in the right hand this time, gets in the lane, the left-handed shot won't fall, and Johnson knocks it out of the cylinder. Now Johnson, the rim runner. And you're right, you know, statistic-wise, Johnson might not be all that influential, but just great up-and-down action from the American.
Well, that hustle down the floor creates the misbalance that means Wilbekin can draw the foul. There is no stat line on this sheet that says, 17 rim runs.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he is busting his behind up and down that basketball court.
Wilbekin now between the circles. To break down Lacey. Keeps his dribble alive. Little bounce pass along the baseline. Kidd moves it on to Senrose and rims out. Well, Darussafaka just can't kill this off. They've had a couple of clean looks, a couple of threes just didn't drop for them. Still life here for Kuban. The veteran Collins. His shot too strong off the backboard.
And he shot it extra high, waiting for Johnson to come.
Wilbekin calls the half-court set. Darussafaka set the tempo they like. The clock is their ally. They're up 10. Lacey trying to bottle up Wilbekin and does a good job, Trevor Lacey.
Yeah, that's a poor set from Darussafaka. They got away from what got them the lead. Execute, just play your game out. They clock watched a little bit there, trying to get the game over. Long way to go yet.
Kulagin moves it on one more to Ragland. Can he make another shot? That's no good. Quali with an offensive rebound. Ragland wants to go at the taller, longer Senrose. Collins checks the seam, and that just rims out. Marty Collins, desperately unlucky.
I hate that play. That was horrible. Joe Ragland waved his team off, sent everybody away, and then just threw a soft pass to Marty Collins. Had no option but a desperation three.
Well, Martin, just a lapse of concentration, I think, here from Scottie Wilbekin. It's an 8-second backcourt violation. You can see Lacey signaling up to the clock just to signal to the referees. Good heady play here by Lacey. And the turnover against Darussafaka. We hit the midway mark of the third quarter, and both sets of players will go to their benches.
Well, a timeout called by Coach Blatt because of the last offensive execution both times. The 8-second violation and the time before, they just kind of dribble the clock out, and Wilbekin takes a desperation three, but he hasn't scored a field goal here in the second half. So he hasn't got the same hot hand he had in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, 19 points in the first 20 minutes, and maybe the mental fatigue sort of setting in here.
Well, he's been more of a decoy here. They haven't needed him, you know, because they've comfortably outscored them here in the second half. They've turned a 6-point lead into a 10-point lead. But they still need to execute on offense. The strength of Darussafaka on the offensive end tonight, obviously the 58 points have been really effective, but they've used the shot clock They've run down the whole shot clock and they ended up taking a shot. So even if Lokomotiv gets the stop, they're tired and they're not getting anything in transition.
You've seen images here, highlights. Johnson with a block, 3 team blocks, Kidd with 1 and Johnson with 2, but of course, Johnson also influenced shots, 1 ball out of the cylinder. This man here, Scottie Wilbekin, should Darussafaka win and candidate for the MVP of the finals. Still plenty of time in this though, 5 minutes, 10 points.
It will be hard to argue against it, but they've got to close it out yet.
Bab in the game, he has 4 fouls. Quali's got a good seal inside and a wise foul here from Senruz. Quali had Senruz pinned in the halo. Quick foul there to prevent the easy basket.
Well, however, they got that mismatch. They need to go right back to it. You end up with Aldemir guarding Collins on the wing. Johnson nowhere near the play. Where's Quali now? Guarded by Aldemir. That's the matchup. Get it to him quick. But no, we're going to try and go with the home run.
Collins hits the heel of the rim. Ragland comes out of the pack with it and buys his team another possession. Marty Collins is 3 for 12. And does that start to play on his mind a little bit here, Martin? He's really struggling to find the bottom of the net.
Not so much for that, because he's probably got the mentality that he's going to make a score at some point, but you know, you've got to find a way to make a bucket, and he's just not having it go his way. If he got to game 3, maybe he'll go 12 for 12 to make up for it, but you got to get there first.
Reminder, Kuban playing to get to the game 3. And another quick foul here on Cummings. It's his 2nd in quick succession.
Well, finally, Darussafaka going to that foul drawing strategy.
It's the 3rd foul here on Will Cummings. Let's see, Ragland just...
But they'll shoot free throws if they draw any more. So now you can attack. What on earth? Oh,
Bab knocks down a 3. That's one of those, what are you, attaboy.
That's a great shot if it goes.
Out of the inbounds play, Bab off the screen from Quali. Now, could this potentially be a spur for Kuban? 7 points in it. Senruz, you can see Collins really inviting the jump shot. Spin in the lane, and Collins with the defensive rebound.
And another poor offensive series by Darussafaka because they're overplaying Wilbekin. Quickness.
Quali really wants the ball inside. He's got Aldemir on his back, doesn't get it. Ragland rises, and Ragland with another big basket for Loko Kuban.
And what Lokomotiv got to recognize is that the momentum is achieved by urgency on offense. I don't mean rush to shoot, but rush to execute the offense. Hard, strong drive there from Ragland. Strong post up by Quali.
16 points for Joe Ragland. He is the leading scorer for Lokomotiv Kuban. Scottie Wilbekin with 25, pacing Darussafaka. And maybe a bit of belief here, a bit of life here, Martin, for Loko Kuban. They've eradicated that 10-point deficit down to 5, much more manageable.
Well, they spotted Darussafaka 5 points with 11 seconds left and can found a way to lose. So they'll still believe that if there's any poetic justice, they will have a chance to take it to overtime. And this is where, if from the home side, Darussafaka's standpoint, you've got to get Wilbekin involved offensively now. The 25 points is great, but you've had very little output from anyone else. There's nobody else on the floor from Darussafaka who has confidence to actually go and get that score.
That sums up the first game, game 1. There were only 2 scores in double digits for Darussafaka. Cummings with 19 and Wilbekin with 24. And Lokomotiv Kuban had 4 guys in double digits. You're right, Wilbekin's been carrying the load offensively here for Darussafaka. Remember now, Bab has got 4 fouls, and Bab is guarding the basketball. Will Wilbekin go at him on the dribble? Moving on. Shot clock running down, and an offensive foul here against Aldemir. Bab playing dangerously with those 4 fouls, draws the foul on 4-count Aldemir.
Yeah, if he has to make that foul, it is illegal. He leans in and he lifts his arms up. Referees are consistent. They've called that 2-3 times tonight.
4th personal foul on Aldemir. So he steps out. Will Cummings with 3 for Darussafaka.
Interested to see what Loco goes with here.
Raglan can't score. Good defense by Wilbekin. Bab lets fly. That rims out. Another offensive rebound by Kwali. Kulagin directing traffic. Kulagin turns the corner. And that's a terrible pass from Kulagin.
Well, guess who he didn't want to take on?
Johnson
drives in the lane. Johnson comes over to help.
You're exactly right. There it is. Johnson coming over, and it causes the turnover.
If anything, you should have tried to get the bounce pass underneath to Kwali. Hindsight is 20/20 vision. They're going to have to trust their defense again.
It's the 11th turnover against Kuban. Now Kulagin draws the assignment to guard Wilbekin. Inside to the low post. Johnson wants to face against Kwali. That mid-range jumper, no good. Good defense by Kuban. Big possession here now, chasing 5 points. Pass inside to Kwali. Can he power it up? He draws the foul.
That's the play Kulagin should have done last time down the floor. Drive in, Johnson comes up. You know he's going to jump. So you look like you come up, then you've got the bounce pass underneath. And Kwali takes it up strong. Good foul by Wilbekin to stop the layup. But if you're Lokomotiv Kuban, every time down the floor, you've got to look to draw fouls.
There's Antipov with a little bounce pass to send Kwali to the basket. Kwali's been a good free throw shooter throughout the competition, 80%. And these are big, big free throws here. If he makes this one, Martin, it goes 55. It becomes a 1-possession game. Still in the eternity left, 2:20. Again, the commentator's curse from me. I better be quiet.
I didn't want to say anything.
You were thinking it, though. Here, across the midcourt stripe is Wilbekin, guarded closely by Kulagin. Wilbekin taking seconds off the clock. Deep, deep 3 by Wilbekin. Oh, Scottie Wilbekin knocks down a big 3. And he put a stamp on that one and had to travel such a long distance.
He looked at Kulagin afterwards and said, "What's my name?"
That one from the other side of the Bosphorus.
You'll call me Mr. Wilbekin. Antipov almost did the right thing. He faked like he was going to come and double. He should have just closed that and double team. You've got to get the ball out of his hands at big moments. And you're telling me this team isn't starting to believe now?
28 points from Scottie Wilbekin, 5 for 8 from behind the 3-point line. He's got an assist and a couple of steals as well. And you can see Raglan just chatting to Collins there. Again, still time in this. 7 points the difference. Just under 2 minutes to play.
But that doesn't mean to say you got to walk it up the court. You got to be aggressive. You got to make your cuts.
Collins spins inside, nice pass. And the reverse layup wouldn't fall for Ellegaard. Lacey keeps it alive. Raglan with a deep 3, Wilbekin style, no good. And a big, big defensive rebound here by Stanton Kidd.
Well, tough defense by the home side now. And we all know that crunch time like this, the referees are going to let the players decide it. So Loco got to play a bit more aggressive, stronger than that. Lacey should have caught that and finished it. Frank Ellegaard
A three from the corner is short. Lacey with the rebound. Can he push the ball down the floor? Lacey's going to go out. Wilbekin, little Euro step. Oh, wouldn't fall. Good move by Trevor Lacey.
Well, now it's nervous time for Darussafaka because they know that Loko's in desperation mode. So I don't really want to foul, but I don't want to score. I want the game to be over.
Yeah, exactly what you don't want to do, Mark, when you're ahead. You don't want to stop that clock and allow your opposition to put points on the board when the clock is stopped.
62 seconds away from being the EuroCup champions. And a club that has got their trophy room at the moment has just got a green carpet in it.
Well, the miss there from Lacey, and these are big free throws down the stretch. Quali missed one, Lacey misses one here.
You think about it, the guys, we haven't touched on it much, of course, but they're missing Ryan Broekhoff, and this is where it really is coming to the fore. His three-point threat, he has been the three-point threat for this team on the season, and he's sat out the entire playoffs, and now they're starting to suffer for it.
Ryan Broekhoff, an all-EuroCup first-team selection. Pass inside, Johnson rises and lays it up and in. Good fast break basketball here from Darussafaka. Sanruz with the assist. Ragland turns the corner, off the window, and it drops. And you can see how Blatt now lets the team play. As you were talking about this earlier, Martin, give them the full length of the floor as Collins commits the foul to stop the clock. Well, the Istanbul fans find their voices as well. They should. Still plenty of basketball in this one.
Well, the thing that starts to play on the Krasnodar team's mind is now they're thinking back to game one and they're starting to say, wow, we threw it away. We should have won game one, in which case this game would be okay to lose. It's been a tough loss, but it's playing on their minds now. We can't believe we did that.
Up 11 seconds. Up 3, I beg your pardon, with 8 seconds left. I think that last possession, Sanruz comes up with the steal, gives by Wilbekin.
5 points with 11 seconds, The game should be done. And in a game that was in the 60s, 5 points, 11 seconds in the game in the 90s, maybe so, but no one. And you say, how hard is it to come by points unless your name is Scottie Wilbekin?
Scottie Wilbekin tonight with 28 points. He had 41 against Bayern Munich in the semifinals. The only player, Martin, would you believe it? Wilbekin is the only player in double digits for Darussafaka. Cummings with 8. Johnson with 8.
Well, and the thing about Wilbekin is he's only scored 1 field goal here in the second half. He scored 1 3. Everything else been the foul line. 1 from 3 on the free. He was 4 from 5 at halftime. Now he's 5 of 8. He's just been almost the threat of Scottie has kept him in it because they fouled him an awful lot. 7 of 8 at the foul line. And then every man with a white shirt has been terrified of Juwan Johnson. 24 points in the second half. That's not championship performance.
Lacey almost comes up with the steal, and Cummings lays it up and in. And you wonder, is that going to be enough for Darussafaka to seal this one? Kulagin trying to respond. Eligar, where have you been, Frank Eligar? The dunk. 6 points, 2 possessions. It's exactly what you talked about earlier here. You know, Blatt doesn't take a timeout, Martin, to advance the ball. Gives his team the length of the floor to break down the defense.
It's much more difficult to guard the full court than the half court. But again, this, as I say, starts to play on the mind of the Lokomotiv players and the coaches. Oh, wow, if I hadn't called timeout, they wouldn't have got that steal. And suddenly now the energy to pull yourself back starts to go, especially if Sanruz makes it a 3-bucket game.
As a team, Darussafaka have been outstanding from the line. 14 for 18. Sanruz makes them both. Lacey, Ragland. Somebody's going to get something up quick. Ragland pulls the trigger on a 3. No good. Lacey with the rebound. Looking for another 3. Collins lets fly. That's off the mark. And Johnson with a defensive rebound for Darussafaka, and this should just about seal it. Darussafaka gonna go on and win this one. They're gonna sweep Lokomotiv Kuban, and Darussafaka will be your 2018 EuroCup champions as the coaches embrace at midcourt. It's exhilaration and exaltation for Darussafaka, Martin. The first time the club has ever claimed a European title.
Wow, what a performance. A season-long performance. As you said, a team that has a history of being bridesmaids. Today they are champions, and they're going back to the EuroLeague.
Big smiles here from Coach Blatt as he embraces his players. In his personal matchup with Coach Obradovic, Blatt rises to 4-0. Coach Obradovic has never beaten Coach Blatt. You can see the players embrace here at midcourt.
And Liam, I know that, arguably winning the EuroLeague with Maccabi in 2014 will be recognized as a bigger achievement, but the budget that team would have had would dwarf what he's got here. This is a phenomenal achievement. The teams they turned over, Bayern Munich, every club that they've gone through, they did Galatasaray, they're in the same group where people didn't think they were ready, and here they are, EuroCup champions. Mr. Blatt, I salute you.
There's your score at the end of this one, 67-59. And stay with us now as we wrap this one up. Darussafaka, the 2018 EuroCup champions. We're sorry for any transmission errors you may be experiencing, but stay with us as we bring out the title. And as is customary of basketball, Martin, the winning team cut down the nets.
And only 2 teams will get to do this in the Europe this year for European championships. The EuroCup and the EuroLeague.
EuroLeague has reached its playoff stages, so that'll start next week.
Wow.
And great to see Osmiroglu cutting down the net, the unsung hero.
He's
came in
sharing the love. Doesn't he understand you're supposed to do it 1 string each?
He's probably so excited. Probably the first time he's ever done it in his life.
It's like my assist. I get to go all of them.
Coach Blatt going out into the crowd.
I'm sure Coach Blatt will reflect on this as one of the best coaching achievements he's managed to do.
You were telling me a great story about the history of the club, Darussafaka, before the game started.
Yeah, the club is based, when it was set up, it's very closely associated with an orphanage. So effectively, it's a charity.
Good to be EuroCup champion.
Hey, it's an amazing feeling. It's something we talked about from the beginning of the season. To have one of your dreams come true, it's an amazing feeling right now. I'm a loss for words, really. But it's all to these guys, man. We stuck together all season long, and I couldn't be happier to play with this team.
Oh, you're going to celebrate?
We're going to party. We're going to party. Have a good time.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Juwan Johnson from Indianapolis, Indiana, from the heartland of basketball in the United States. And he's going to enjoy himself in Istanbul tonight. And look at the exaltation and the happiness amongst the Darussafaka players as they celebrate with their fans.
Well, if I was a Turkish team, I would love to be playing Darussafaka this weekend.
In the Turkish league. And what a great advertisement for Turkish basketball, Martin. We mentioned it earlier, Fenerbahce are the holders of the EuroLeague title, and now the newly crowned EuroCup champions, Darussafaka.
Wow. And who would question the prospect of having double European champions in the same calendar year? Fener could repeat.
Absolutely, they're in the playoffs. That will start next week.
But tonight is all about these men in green.
It was undefeated before this final, but you beat them not only once, but twice. How did you do it?
Well, I think during the season, although we lost a couple, we played without Scottie Wilbekin, we played without JJ. So I think we were every bit as good during the course of the season as we were in the final. And, when you get to a finals, it's really about the team that comes in the best way and in the best shape. We had a really good run before the start of the finals. And what can I tell you? I've been very fortunate in my career to be a part of a lot of championship teams. This group and this competition in particular are very, very special. Something kind of innocent, something kind of new. And I'm so proud of my players for what they gave and what they did. And they committed to excellence. It's not about the result. It's about the day-to-day and what you commit to. And we were the better team, and we deserve to be where we are.
I have to ask you this. You're now, along with Dusan Ivkovic, the only coach to win the EuroLeague and the EuroCup. How does it feel to be at the same level of this coaching league?
Well, first of all, even to be mentioned in the same sentence as Dusan Ivkovic, that's very, very honorable for me. But, you know, today, honestly, is about my players. We didn't have a single guy that's ever won a European competition or even won a local title except for perhaps one. So they've now created their own legacy. They're a part of history. Dacia has never in their history won a European championship. And I'm just proud as hell of them. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you, man.
Just to put that in perspective, Martin, so Coach Blatt, as you mentioned, won with Maccabi, the EuroLeague back in 2014. He adds this title to 2018 EuroCup championships, and Dusan Ivkovic won the EuroLeague in '97 and 2012 with Olympiacos, and as you mentioned earlier, he won EuroCup with Dinamo Moscow in 2006. So Blatt etches his names amongst the coaching greats.
Absolutely, and as I said, that team that Ivkovic won, when he took over that Dinamo Moscow team, he was the final piece of the puzzle. You know, with Coach Blatt, he cooked his team to the EuroLeague last season, and he stuck it out with them, and boy, have they paid off dividends.
Yeah, Darussafaka had 2 seasons in the EuroLeague. 2016, they made it to the top 16. 2017, lost in the playoffs to Real Madrid last year, and so certainly those experiences would have helped this club. You can see the highlights here. Darussafaka winning at home. They were pacing, scoring by Scottie Wilbekin with 28 points. Will Cummings had 10 in the end. Sanruz, 8. First time a Cuban international has won a European title. And then Juwan Johnson also with 8 points. He was so active on defense, was Juwan Johnson. We have to really highlight his contribution.
Yeah, we've got to be certain that Wilbekin will get the MVP, but Johnson will should get more credit than you would ever imagine. He entirely dominated at the defensive end, particularly in the second half, because Cuba didn't even want to shoot. Yeah, they were at 55% at halftime inside the paint. They finished at 46. And they were all layups. They were not mid-range jump shots. But we don't need to dwell on the negative here. I think hats off to a fabulous performance by Darussafaka, and obviously I don't think there was any question it was going to be your MVP.
Here's Scottie Wilbekin, the 2018 7 Days EuroCup Finals MVP. He adds this to the regular season MVP, first team all EuroCup selection. And Wilbekin will look forward to the opportunity to go back on the stage in the EuroLeague, one of the best players in Europe.
So regular season MVP, playoff MVP, leading scorer in the championship. He can probably make a great souffle as well.
He can do no wrong, the man from Florida. He'll enjoy the company of his teammates now as they get ready to come out and receive the crown. Gets pats on the back from his teammates, as well he should. The Lokomotiv Kuban team, who disconsolate Joe Ragland at 18 points in the losing effort, and he was outstanding in passage tonight.
Well, he was the best player of an overall patchy performance. You give credit to Krasnodar over what they've done throughout the course of the season, but I guarantee this time next year, nobody will remember that they put together a 20-game winning streak. They equaled their own record for the longest winning streak in the history of the EuroCup, but it only can if you come home with a ring.
Darussafaka will join Galatasaray as the only other Turkish champions in this competition. You can see the players now receiving their winners' medals. And Martin, do you recognize this person here putting them on? Is that Hirogu?
That's not Hido.
Just here. There's Mr. Bertomeu, who's helping the presentation. Jordi Bertomeu, who's helping present the medals. There's Blatt embracing. Jordi Bertomeu smiles all around. The other interesting thing about this team, Martin, is it's a young club. I think the average age is 24 or 25 for Darussafaka. And so a lot of young, talented players.
Well, after getting relegated, for want of a better term, from the EuroLeague last season, there was a lot of talk. They had Will Clyburn, who went to CSKA, and Scottie Wilbekin. You would expect them to go. People were surprised that Coach Blatt stayed with them. But not only did he stay, he built the team up, he added to it. And, Wilbekin has come on now to be an outstanding player, a lock to be, they'll struggle to keep him as they go up. Because they don't have the same budget as some of the bigger EuroLeague clubs. And Coach Blatt, well, I think he's clearly found a home.
In his second season with the club, helped with by Kęstutis Kemzura, who is one of his assistants, the former Lithuanian national team coach. And all smiles all around there from the players.
Well, even the mascot gets a medal.
Any chance to get his face in front of the camera. Just getting ready to present the players onto the platform. And all credit to the fans who stayed here in this Volkswagen Arena. They can look forward to an outstanding evening in Istanbul. It's a town that you've been to as a player. You really enjoy the atmosphere.
They will be having a very good time, shall we say. They will be rocking in Istanbul tonight.
The 16th edition of the modern EuroCup. The title will go to Darussafaka. The players lining up to get their hands on the trophy. Eldemir steps out. Eldemir from Izmir originally. Uzmiralu and Wilbekin getting ready to lift the EuroCup. There it is. Your 2017-2018 EuroCup champions, Darussafaka of Istanbul. The first ever European crown for the club. They beat Lokomotiv Kuban, who were undefeated coming into this championship series. They beat them in 2 games, stole the game in Krasnodar, won in overtime, and then brought it back here to Istanbul. What a perfect place for Darussafaka to win this crown in front of their own fans.
And reflect on the quality of the performance tonight. Thoroughly professional. Of course, they were at home, maybe slight favorites, but the defensive job they did put in tonight. 57 points against a team that was averaging nearly 81 on the season and was undefeated. They are truly the 7 days EuroCup champion and worthy champions at that.
Your hearts goes out, of course, to the Lokomotiv Kuban players who had such a marvelous season. And of course, to Marty Collins, who's lost his competition before with Strasbourg. But it's all about the champions tonight. Wilbekin with 28, Cummings with 10, Sanruz with 8, Johnson with 8, Uzmir Zarak with 3, Beigel with 3, Michael Eric quiet, just 2 points, but everybody played their part in this. As you said, a lot of things don't turn up in a stat sheet, but team defense.
Yeah, but Eric, it said I was hard on him coming into this game tonight. But don't forget, at the beginning of the second half, he had a couple of huge blocks. Third quarter performance, that contribution, everybody played their little play. You talk about Osmirak with the assist, 29 seconds of action he had that.
Yeah.
He had their assist at the shot clock buzzer at the end of the first half. But that 3, everyone contributed, and that's something that is what championship teams are made of.
Darussafaka, just to review their season, they finished 19-3. They came through Group A, top of the group, 8-2. Then they went on to the next phase, Group E, top of the group, 5-1. And then since then, they swept Podgorica in the quarterfinals, swept a very, very good Bayern Munich team in the semifinals, and then they swept 2-0 Lokomotiv Kuban. As Coach Blatt said, we were really hot coming into this.
Yeah, well, 6-0 in the playoffs, and they were all best of 3s. That's a big testimony to the quality of your team.
You saw this final last year, Malaga and Valencia. Malaga went on to win it in a 3-game series. And let's hope the 3-game series is here to stay, and the idea of the 2 legs maybe is a thing of the past.
Well, they've also gone through a Final 8 phase a few years ago where they went to a central venue and played quarterfinal, semi-final, and final over 5 days. The single game elimination, that works as well. I personally like the series. On the best of 3, nobody can disagree with Darussafaka coming out on top. If you go a home win, if you just get the home wins, you can argue.
It's such a difficult team that came to this final undefeated.
We just did what we always do: play tough, play hard defense, and trust how we got here.
Character, I guess. I mean, you showed, especially in game one, you never gave up, and that paid off.
A lot of character. I mean, it wasn't easy to get to the finals. We had 2 tough series, especially the second in the Final Four against Bayern Munich. So we were battle tested. We've been in close games. We've been down before. We came back. We showed that we can win any type of game. So, I mean, and now we're here. We're champions now.
It's going to be a long celebration, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, long. It's going to be long.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, Scottie Wilbekin from Florida, originally Gainesville, Florida, went to the University of Florida where he played his collegiate basketball. And he stayed all 4 years, Martin. You know, so often you hear about Americans who do a year or 2 of college and become pros. So he spent his apprenticeship, if you like, at the University of Florida. And he mentioned, of course, that they were battle-tested, came through that Bayern series. They were down double digits against Bayern. It was Stanton Kidd who made that basket in the death of the game to seal one of the wins. Here's Michael Eric.
I mean, it feels amazing, obviously. You see the atmosphere. Man, I'm just thankful, first of all. Thank God, you know, for giving me the abilities to leave Nigeria, go to university in the U.S. and be able to play basketball for a living. Not a lot of people can say that. You know, my wife just had a baby recently. And, you know, all the support, she's been there from day one. And this is for her, too, and the family.
You never gave up, especially in game one, but also in game 2. I mean, you battled all the way in both games.
Like I told you, this is the team. Second half team, never give up. And incredible atmosphere, man, incredible. Scottie, primetime player. I haven't seen that in a long time, and I don't think I'll ever see that kind of player.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Michael Eric, you mentioned earlier, Martin, in your opening comments from Lagos, Nigeria, originally played his collegiate basketball at Temple University. Would you believe he was also a teammate with Will Cummings? They overlapped from 1 year, so great to see those guys who met in college now right here on the European stage.
It's amazing how quickly players lose that connection with college. You know, we don't often talk about it because their European exploits are becoming more important. Whereas the quality of European basketball, particularly EuroCup and EuroLeague, continues to improve. This is something that players aspire to as they go through the US college system. They know about this in the States. You mentioned Wilbekin staying in college 4 years. He knows he has the pedigree to compete at the highest level, and he's very happy to be performing over here right now. And that's the quality that we've got to work with, and that's why it's so special to win the EuroCup. You know, this is, I always say, this is arguably more difficult to win than the EuroLeague, because it's such a different format. You've got a 10-game regular season, then you've got a top 16, then you've got to get through these 3 best-of-3 series to be crowned EuroCup champion and get that reward. Entry to the EuroLeague next season, a massive response, massive reward.
There's your club. There's your final score. Darussafaka win at home, game 2, 67-59. Your quarter score. Stay with us as we wrap this one up. And you can see the celebrations continue here in the Volkswagen Arena. Darussafaka win 2 games against Lokomotiv Kuban. Well, we're going to leave you here with highlights from this one from me, Liam Canny. On behalf of my partner Martin Hanlon, it's been our privilege to be with you tonight. The 2017-2018 European champions in the EuroCup, the 7 days EuroCup, Darussafaka of Istanbul.